son of immigrant parents. So both my parents traveled here from Haiti. I'm a big brother. I have three other siblings. I want to say, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, I'm gonna say young entrepreneur. Yeah, and I want to say I do wear many titles, and many things to many people, if that makes sense.
Definitely. Okay, so the next question will be what exactly are you into and what's your business all about?
Right. I want to say I believe that my assignment is to really teach the importance of financial literacy. Being someone that grew up in a household, not really taught about finances. More so, my parents didn't really sit me down and teach me things about money. And so, I really learned the importance of financial literacy because of my education, one, and also because of my work experience. And so I believe my assignment is to really teach that importance of financial literacy, especially in the Black community, because there's a lacking of it, right? A lot of us don't grow up in households that teach us about, a lot of us don't learn about financial literacy from our parents more so. And so there's a lack in education in that as well. But also I feel that, my assignment is to really make sure that teaching, people about financial literacy that makes actual sense so that they can make, more, informed decisions with their money as well. I felt also my assignment is really to, call out some of the biases that we have in the financial community, and I do that by utilizing my platform. So in summary, I'm, really passionate about financial literacy, and I'm able to conquer some of those things through, my various platforms. One as I'm an accountant, young entrepreneur. I now have my own accounting firm after working in the industry for 6 years. I'm also a public speaker, so I have the privilege now to travel throughout the tri-state area and also its, neighboring states, so such as Philadelphia, New Jersey, and I get to teach and also host financial literacy seminars. I'm also a visionary as well. Just recently debuted a community initiative called Elevation, which is an annual business pitch competition for Black entrepreneurs and Black-owned businesses. I'm also a board member as well. I'm the treasurer for a nonprofit organization called Grow Brooklyn. So as you can see, I have quite a few things I have going on for myself.
Wow, that's really loaded, and I'm really I'm really proud of you, and you know, and I know that a lot of people watching this video right now, or whenever we get to play it, will be impressed.
Mhm.
What this young man is doing in the not just for the African American community, but I mean for the young people in New York City and the young people um, in America. And the good thing is we're all on the internet, it's social media, so we'll see
Right,
people all over the world. So
right, right.
you're a role model, and that's huge. And what inspired you to actually get started? I know you mentioned, most of us don't have like formal training about money, you
Right.
know. Um, we're trying to go to school. We all want to do engineering and medicine and all whatnot. And some people have opportunity to do courses like animal production and health, which is like, we all have to eat food every day, which is one of the best things that you can ever study. But sometimes we just feel, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be an engineer. But because we don't know about money, we don't know about commerce, we don't know that that's really what matters. And that's the kind of thing you want to do because everyone has to eat every day.
Right.
Yeah. So what inspired you to get started?
I think honestly, like and like speaking about my story and the inspiration behind it, a lot of this kind of happened by accident. That kind of makes sense. So honestly, I didn't grow up like being inspired to, live this life or to be, a huge contributor. So it just kind of happened by accident, and that was just, through me just kind of throwing myself in the mix. And that was, my education, but also in, being a public speaker as well, and seeing firsthand the impact you're able to make, right, and teaching people about financial literacy, but also just honestly just wanting to be a part of the little steps that lead to systematic change was probably the biggest inspiration for me as well. And being a person of color, um, I think it's important to for other people to see people that look like them, especially when it comes to matters such as financial literacy, such as subjects such as commerce and talking about money related subjects. I think you want to come across as someone that they can relate to and someone that they look like as well, and also being someone that didn't grow up around wealth and coming from a low income community, that also like really motivated me as well to really help out my community by utilizing the my my education and the resources that I'm fortunate to have, and also my expertise. So I think a lot of those things are probably some of my biggest inspirations, if that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much, David. That definitely does answer my question. And money is important, and
Hmm.
most people of color are not really getting a hold of their money,
Right.
not really dominating in that aspect, and that's one of the reasons why racial discrimination is all over the place. Because I don't think if you're walking down the streets of New York City as a billionaire at 25 years old, and they see you on the news on the TV. I mean, they might still have some notion about it, but they'll be careful about
Right. Right.
the kind of things they do. So we need to empower the
Right.
mindset of our people, empowering the mindset and the change of the mindset. I mean, I did a podcast last weekend. It's and I'm saying on that podcast basically that we need to be more creators
Hmm.
than end
I
users.
like that.
If we are creators more than end users, then we start changing the narrative. you know. But for the most part, we're just end users. If you, I joined some Facebook groups, a lot of Facebook groups that I joined as a black entrepreneur, and
Hmm.
everybody's selling T-shirts. Everybody's making hair braids. Everybody's doing the same thing. And I'm saying, so what's the difference in this group? So how do you want to help one another? There's not even a competitive advantage. There's no creativity
Right.
around
Right.
here.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're all in this group with like 70,000 black CEOs. There's none of us in technology. Nobody's designing applications. Nobody's designing websites. I mean, real websites that gonna bring people together to start discussions on social media, something really volatile like Facebook. I'm not saying we should design another Facebook, but technology is the way forward. Look at all the big technologies around. Most of the most powerful people in the United States, all over the world, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. And that's why this platform is raking in millions and millions and millions of dollars every single minute. So, and that's where the narrative um, has to be changed. I'm not saying that one day we're all gonna wake up and then black people will be in Silicon Valley. We're gonna be like 10%. Right now, what less than 1% of black people in Silicon Valley. You see, so that's why people like you have to come out and tell us, educate us, motivate us, coach us
Right.
on our mindset towards money.
Yeah.
That we need to send money on errands and not money sending us on errands. So what advice do you have for other people who want to do the same thing that you're doing right now?
I think one is find a niche and then develop your craft. That's one. Two is also to do some research. After you do some research, start and you'll learn along the way. Another advice I would say is to really, I think a lot of this is also about a leap of faith, but also understanding that that fear is a natural part of the process. So the quicker you're able to understand it, the quicker that you're able to, begin and faith. But also understand that in taking this path, that there will be, different peaks and valleys, different, there'll be upside and also downside along this path. But despite, that, every single experience is teaching you a lesson that's going to propel you to success. Yeah, so that would be like my advice.
I I don't know what's wrong with your sound over there. It's
Okay, what did you hear? What was the last thing you heard?
yeah, that a lot of it has to do with I didn't hear the rest of the sentence.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. I mean, I can repeat that again. I was gonna say, and also, I think the last piece of advice I wanted is like a echo. Do you hear the echo?
No, no, I don't hear the echo.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, okay, great. Now I was gonna say the next piece of advice I wanted to say is that understand that fear is a natural part of the process, and so it's always gonna be there. And so in taking this path, it requires a leap of faith, but also understanding that there are going to be peaks and valleys, right? There are going to be success and failures, and realizing that, understand that each one of those experiences are teaching you a new lesson that's going to propel you towards success.
Powerful, powerful statements, powerful statement. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Uh, several different things. I see myself as several different things. I want to say. One, my long-term goal is to become a certified public accountant. I'm already working on my certification now, so that's I see myself in 5 years. One, as a CPA. Two, also, I see me continually growing my firm, strategically, and expanding my team. So our reach is greater when it comes to servicing, our clients. That's also I see me continually traveling, but this time globally, right? The goal is to reach, um, more audiences and different, states as well, different youth and millennials throughout the country as well. So I do see myself traveling globally, if that makes sense.
That's a lot of vision. So any present or future projects you're working on at this time?
Yeah, sure. So I just recently uh, successfully debuted my initiative, which was a really huge success. Elevation. It's an annual business pitch competition for Black entrepreneurs. But also it was bigger than just a competition. It was a huge networking event, a community event. It was about unity, and with yeah, it was about community and support. But so that was a huge success, and I'm looking to right now. I'm planning the second annual one, which is going to take place next 2020 Juneteenth weekend. That's going to be much bigger and also more greater as well too. So that's something I'm currently working on as well. I'm also working on a book, a financial literacy book. That's also going to be released later this year as well, and that's going to tackle some of the financial, uh, at least like jargons that you typically hear But more so don't really understand the definition, or at least the the terms, right? More or less don't understand what they mean. So that book is gonna tackle that, but also is gonna also teach you things such as it's gonna teach you about business, accounting, estate planning, and so forth. So those are a couple of projects I'm working on. And one last project, just to throw it out there, I'm also working on a community initiative that I'm going to debut on my birthday. It's a charity fundraiser. So should be a lot of fun.
Wow, wow. You're really doing great stuff right there, and I'm really impressed.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're about rounding off this conversation right now.
Mhm.
I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know, because you're talking about all these big things, and we're
Mhm.
all entrepreneurs, and sometimes we're wondering, is this how easy everything is? What's your biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge that you've experienced in your business as a person of color?
I think support. I think honestly, because at least in being a young entrepreneur, some of the realities is the stigmas that are out there already. And there are some negative stigmas about businesses dealing businesses that are black owned, or at least minority businesses, that there's a lack of professionalism, a lack of customer service when it comes with dealing with businesses that are black owned. So I had firsthand experience with that this year as well. But it's also been a common issue that black owned businesses deal with. So that's major I'm dealing with. But despite those challenges, I'm working on something that's gonna change that
Can
narrative.
you hold on for a minute? For some reason, it's fading out. I'm not sure what's going on, so we're gonna have to ask that question again. Can you say something?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, it's clear now.
yeah. I
I
was
think I
saying.
think once you're moving away from the phone, it gets muddled up. Yeah, so I'm gonna ask the question again. What is your biggest challenge that you've experienced in your business as a person of color?
I mean, there's a I'm still a young entrepreneur, so there's challenges that arise as of late. Recently, um, one of the challenges I'm noticing in
Mm.
regards to sport, and it's a challenge because there's a stigma that's already created um, in regards to black-owned businesses. Realize in regards to black-owned businesses that there's a lack of professionalism, a lack of customer service that's already established. With customers, with potential customers or clients, and so that's an issue. I saw that firsthand as well too this year. And so, but despite that, I'm working on my own solutions in regard to that problem as a way to provide a response to that challenge.
Okay, so our last question of this morning will be: we want you to give us an advice, um, especially to thousands of people that are listening to us right now, on starting our own businesses. Is there a right time for us to start? And I mean, what advice would you give someone that's about to start or that wants to start their own business or career?
Um, I don't think there is a perfect time or moment to start a business. So, I'm saying this from someone who, like, I was in the accounting industry for 6 years, and it's always been a thought for me to start my own firm, right? But it was this whole idea of dealing with fear and self doubt and waiting for the perfect time or the moment or more or less. It would probably be the ideal time if I got certified as a CPA. And it's just really has gotten me. It just really has just proven to me that there really isn't like a perfect time, and I think that goes for everybody. and anyone who's listening, like really isn't a perfect time or moment. What's important is that in starting your own business, make sure that you do your research right, understand the playing field, uh, and also develop your craft as well too. And then starting your business, you're also learn along the way. And so there isn't a perfect time or a moment to start your career or your business. You know, the best time is to start now, and you can learn along the way.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. I'm coming on Melanin People today. I really appreciate you, David. And I know we're gonna continue this conversation,
Right,
and we're gonna have more conversation on the podcast, which is gonna
right,
be on the audio podcast later on. And we have to discuss some issues, that are pertaining to the Black community.
right.
And yeah, so I'll be more than happy to for us to do that conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I'm hoping that we'll bring Melanin People Conference to New York City, and we can work on that together. Hopefully, we'll bring that to
Yeah,
New York City in
I
2020.
would be open.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for the time. Want to thank you for everything. Thank you for believing in us here, Melanin People, and we are proud of you, and we wish you all the best, and we know that the best is yet to come for you. Have a wonderful day, brother.
Thank you so much. And, I love Melanin People stands for and represent. You guys are truly changing the narrative, and it's something to be proud
All right. Have a wonderful day, bro.
of.
And
You too. Thank you.
God bless you. Bye bye.